What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about crankbaits. You are not going to want to miss these tips.
Artlist.io.
So in today's video we're going to talk about crankbaits. As you can see, I got all the crankbaits that I use. We're going to go more on the deep side of crankbaits just because it's summertime and we're transitioning offshore and stuff with the deep crankbaits like the DT20s and the Strike King 6XDs and things. But anyways, we're going to talk about these for a little bit. I've got my three setups right here. I've got a 7.4 cranking rod, 7.4 medium cranking rod. I'm actually playing around with this right here with the Strike King 6XD. It is a 7.6 medium heavy. And then here we have the main one that we've been using, which is a 711 medium cranking rod, and that's got a DT20 on it. Most of the time I'm just going to throw a 10-pound line. Every now and then I'll go up to 12, and if I'm going up to 14, it's normally because I'm fishing around trees with a square bill. But as far as deep cranking, anywhere from 8-9 foot on to 20-30 foot, I'm going to be sticking with 10 to 12-pound line. But my main deep cranking setups are these two right here. I'm actually playing around with this 7.6 medium heavy a little bit. I've got the Strike King 6XD on here, and the reason I changed this one up to a medium heavy, it's a little bit stiffer of a rod, but it really launches the crankbait out there. It seems like, having these two baits right here, this is a DT20 and then this is a 6XD. These baits go about the same depth wise. They go about the same. The Rapala DT20, it has a lot tighter wobble. It just barely wobbles like that, whereas the Strike King 6XD, it has a really wide wobble and a lot of commotion in the water and a really loud noise. But with this one compared to this one, you've got a lot more weight. It seems like this one, this one weighs almost double what the Rapala DT20 weighs. I mean, the Strike King 6XD, even the 5XD probably outweighs the Rapala DT20. The reason I have the 6XD on a little bit heavier rod is because it takes so much, to launch it out there. This rod and reel combo really casts this bait a lot better and gets it down to the bottom a lot quicker. As I was normally using as y'all saw in the last video, the 711 medium rod, and you could really would work your arms and hands out, all day catching fish with that Strike King 6XD. It seems like the Strike King 6XD just has a whole lot more pulling power than the Rapala DT20. But anyways, I'm just playing around with this. As for now, I may change it up at the end and go back to throwing the 711 medium cranking rod, but I've been playing around with this. I like it so far. It's been good. I also have this one. This is my main cranking setups for anywhere from a square bill, a DT4, all the way up, to around the DT14 is the most I'm going to put on this little 7.4 medium cranking rod. This is a Shimano Caius. This is a Duckett reel right here, and then this is a Bass Pro Shops formula reel. All these are 7.2 to 1 gear ratio reels. I don't change much on the ratios. I'm not a big gear ratio person when it comes to fishing. I don't really think it matters a ton as far as catching fish, but I like to have a little bit faster just because I can really burn it through there during the summer, and then during the winter I can always slow down. I can just crawl that bait along here. But this is on that 7.4 medium cranking rod. This is a Rapala DT10 here. That's the main one I've been throwing on it. Right now during the summer I've been cranking 10 to 12 to 14 foot, but I really use those a lot. But I will throw anywhere from a DT6, which is what that is, to a DT10, and occasionally go up to a DT14. A DT14 and stuff really wears on that 7.4. You can really feel it pulling back and forth, and really feel contact with the bottom and stuff a lot more. I mean, which is a good thing, but sometimes it just wears you out throwing DT14 on that 7.4 medium rod. You really be better to go up to like a 7-11 or a 7.6 medium cranking rod. But I have a little bit of both. I'm a big Rapala person. I love the DT series. They're some of the best. It seems like they just get bit wherever you go, all across Middle Tennessee and North Alabama. But I also use these a lot. These right here are the Strike King 5XDs, and I actually use the 6XDs also. The 6XDs really work, early summer when the fish are really aggressive and just got offshore. But it seems like the Rapalas, like mainly the DT16s and the DT20s, seem to work better later in the summer. When everybody's offshore, throwing the Strike King 6XDs and the 5XDs, it seems like you can come in with those Rapalas and like the 16s and the 20s and really clean up their fish where they're not catching many, but you can go in there with that little bit more subtle presentation and really catch those fish. But yeah, as far as this is the P-Line copolymer fishing line. Actually, it's not even straight fluorocarbon. The reason I use it is because it's excellent line. It lays down on the reel really good. It casts extremely far for these little baits, and it's cheaper. So that's the main thing with me. I think I can get a 600 to I think 1,000 yard spool for anywhere from $8 to $15, and you just really can't beat that price. I like to spend money on certain things, but as far as fishing line, it's excellent copolymer. It sinks. It's copolymer fishing line. It's a fluorocarbon coated, I guess, is what most people think of it as, but it works excellent. And I've never had any complaints with it. I don't break off many fish. I'll leave the link in my last video down in the description, but if y'all go back and watch it, I was cranking with 10-pound line with a Strike King 6XD, catching 4 and 5 pounders, and I never once had broke off or even had the slightest chance of really broke off. I think I frayed up maybe one time, but it's excellent line. I really like it, and is versus a 10 to 12 pound, say Seaguar and Vizex, which it's excellent line, but it's $30 a spool almost. So, you know, when you're traveling, retying, and changing line a lot, it really works great. I have a couple of other different types of crankbaits that I use occasionally. I don't use them as much. I just really like the Strike King and the Rapalas a lot more. Those are the main, deep crankbaits I use. Anywhere from deep cranking for me is anywhere, 8+ foot, 8 to 30. I don't go much past that, but these are two just different types of crankbaits. This is the Berkley, I think it's called the Dredger, and this thing goes actually 20 plus. It'll reach depths, 25, 26 foot on that 10-pound line. And this one right here, you can see that's just a normal size crankbait right here, this yellow one, and this is the difference between those. The size is so much different. Whereas like this one, we have a lot of tiny little bait like threadfin shad and little just minnows that we have in our lake. And this bait works excellent because you can get it down, 10, 15, anywhere from 10 to 15 foot, depending on what kind of line you have. But you can still get this bait down there, and it's got that tiny profile, and then fish really seem to like it a lot. With that 5XD on 10-pound line, most all your crankbaits are rated for 12-pound line. So when this 5XD says it goes, 15 feet, that's on 12-pound line. So if I put it on 10, I can normally get it 17 to 18 feet on a long cast. Whereas, with this one also, with that 10-pound line, this is a 6XD. I'm getting this bait down to 23, 24 foot. So it really helps me a lot. I like to throw that 10-pound line because I can throw a smaller bait and I can get it down deep a whole lot faster, and I can keep it down in the strike zone for a whole lot longer. So, on a 100-foot cast, say with this Strike King 6XD right here, on a 100-foot cast, you got the bait, say it goes 20 foot down. For the first 20 feet of your cast, that bait's going down, and it's not going to get bit going down. And then, you've got another, say, 70 feet going across, like this, where it's in the strike zone, and then another 10 foot going up towards the boat. So with that 10-pound line, that bait gets down there so fast, and it'll stay at the strike zone a lot longer, and then you bring it back up. So that really helps. Versus, I know a lot of people deep crank with like 12, 14, and I've even seen people go up to 17-pound line for deep cranking, where they're going to have to throw a bait that goes 30 foot just to get, in that 20, 22 foot range. But anyways, that's the main things about crankbaits. if you have any tips, leave them in the comment section and I'll look at them, and they might help me out. These few tips that I have, they may help you out also. But if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down in the comment section. And if you would, like and subscribe for more videos like these. I'm going to try to do a tips and tricks video at least once a week, plus along with, fishing videos and things like that. But these are my main cranking setups, so hope you enjoy and learn something. Thanks.